Today we will be covering lesson 26-4, points along a line segment. We're going to start off by splitting this lesson into 3 separate sections. We're going to cover questions 1 to 4, questions 5 to 7, and then all of example A. Let's take a look at our introduction for number 1. Maria tells Eric that she's going to walk from her math classroom to the cafeteria. Before leaving, she depicts her movement on a coordinate plane. Her movement is an example of a directed line segment. Math terms. A directed line segment is a line segment that is designated with direction. Maria indicates the math classroom on the coordinate plane as point M and the cafeteria as point C. Each endpoint of the segment is designated by an ordered pair. Suppose Eric asks Maria to stop at the school's office before heading to the cafeteria. He indicates the location of the office as point O. Suppose the math classroom is located at M, -2, -1. And the cafeteria is at C, 2, 7. The office, point O, is located 1/4 of the distance from point M to point C. Again, we're going to go through questions 1 through 4 to start. It says, model with mathematics. Plot points M and C on the coordinate grid. Well, M is located at -2, -1. So I go origin, back 2, down 1. Going to plot that point. That is M. C is located at 2, 7. So we're going to go to the right 2, up 7. So, and I'm going to plot that with the letter C. Number 2, estimate the location of point O. Should point O be closer to point M or closer to point C? Now, this is an estimate, so I'm actually going to do this in pencil as to if I need to change my answer here in a minute, okay? It says, O, the office, is located 1/4 of the distance from point M to point C. So 1/4 from here to there. So is it closer to M or closer to point C? I'm just going to kind of mark it with a pencil. I think it should be somewhere up in here, right? Maybe. Would you think that that's 1/4 of the distance between here and here? Might not be exact. Could be close. But it should be somewhere along this path. Would you agree with that? Okay. So I'm going to say that I think it should be closer to point M. And I'm going to say, looks like I got about -0.5, probably, possibly a +1. Now, this is just a guess, okay? I'm not expecting this to be exact. It says, compute the slope of MC. Now, let's recall the slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, well, remember my points. M was at -2, -1, and C was at 2, 7. I'm going to go with 7 minus the -1. So y2 minus y1 over 2 minus the -2. x2 minus x1. This is going to be 8 over 4. 8 over 4 is positive 2 for a slope. Devise a method to determine the coordinates of point O and then find the coordinates of point O. What method could we do here to find this ordered pair? Well, let's look at it this way. This 8 tells me how much I rise from this point to this point, right? We rise 8. Overall, from M to C, we run 4. I'm only going 1/4 of the distance. So let's do this. Let's divide this by 4. That gives me a rise of 2. Let's divide this by 4. This gives me a run of 1, right? So from point M, we would go up to right 1. And that should be the office's location. Well, if we recall, we had -2, -1. Now remember, this up to is this number. And this right 1 is my x value, right? -2 plus 1 is -1. -1 plus 2 is +1. So my location for point O is -1, 1. Was I too far off? And I guess I would have noticed if I would have actually plotted this point, plotted this line. My little x, which was here, was a little slight bit off, just slight. So -1, 1. On to the next set of questions.